Aloha.
Hi, this is Bandit Kanisthakhon. I'm an assistant professor from Thailand.
And my Tran, a doctoral student from Vietnam.
We are now teaching a class together at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. We're pleased to have this opportunity to share our work in teaching during the pandemic. The presentation title is Chopsticks and Toilet Paper, Teaching Design Online with Common Household Items.
Before, we live in a well-connected world. People were freer to travel anywhere. However, the pandemic happened and everyone now has to stay at home, limit social interaction and travel. Only the virus can travel freely from place to place.
Hawaii is located in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's completely isolated from the world since the only way to access the island is by air and water. The island is heavily dependent on imported goods. However, goods shipping became more limited to the island. So we have to utilize everything available on the island during the pandemic.
From another perspective, design teaching was a process of interaction and conversation exchange among peers and professionals. The pandemic has put everyone in
virtuality.
From taking classes, design discussion, presenting the work, to getting feedback, are all from the limited computer screen display. Even though people have tried to make online meetings as a way to communicate, the physical interaction is still needed.
Students are struggling to express and develop their ideas. Design is now more dependent upon how well the students are comfortable with the design software. Students who are new to design school became less understanding about craftsmanship and lack of knowledge of how to put things together. Since there are more learning curve for each software, the student focused instead on manipulating software rather than defining and refining the design process. The situation impacts the students and educators who are eager to find a way to illustrate teaching methods during the pandemic, which lead to everyone's frustration.
Observing the differences in learning and teaching from the pre-pandemic and in-pandemic situation, we appreciate the value of traditional method, the hands-on design, even more. Last semester, Bandit and I taught together for an elective design class, a mix of first-year students and fourth-year students. The first-year student had exciting ideas, but they had difficulty expressing their ideas into drawings and 3D modeling. This is when we knew we had to step in to help them.
Back to the island. Hawaii is a melting pot of cultures. It is the home of many interracial ethnicities. The picture on the left is one typical plate lunch, which combines many items, such as macaroni salads, rice, fried chicken, tonkatsu sauce, pickles, seaweeds with furikake, and sriracha chili sauce. The Asian population is the largest group in ethnicities, so Hawaiian culture get lots of influence from Asia.
Chopsticks were invented 5,000 years ago and have become standard items in every restaurant, household in Hawaii. Not only in Hawaii, but in general, you can find even in the Western food restaurant. Similarly, toilet paper has been an essential part of our daily activities since it was first invented in the 1800s and started to become a common item in 1920. We believe that these two items could be a perfect material for the student to develop their ideas because their availability on island.
The chopsticks are rigid and robust so that they can be imitated as a structural elements, columns, beams, joists, rafters. The material is easy to cut, bend, slide, and be manipulated easily. Toilet paper is more flexible and soft. It is excellent to form organic shapes and forms. It can be translucent. It allows the light to pass through with different opacity by adding more layers. Toilet paper can be used to represent walls, surface, decorative elements, facades. The accents of any structure are the load-bearing and non-load-bearing elements. The use of chopsticks and toilet papers are appropriate in this aspect.
The material can be used as a vehicle to develop a design philosophy and method in teaching. They were introduced to students as required materials to foster exploration in design thinking.
In a typical design process, we always start identifying a problem and select the site that represents the problems. After understanding the site, we will develop concepts to solve the problem. Chopstick and toilet paper are the most appropriate materials to be explored during this design process before moving to schematic design and further steps.
As an experiment, we introduced the methodology to the students. We grouped them into the group of 4. Each group includes first year and fourth year students. We allow the student to find an issue that they think necessary to address during the pandemic and apply the design criteria to develop the ideas.
In this project, the student addressed the problem of indoor air quality during the pandemic. They wanted to develop a system that enhanced the relationship of indoor and outdoor air quality using passive cooling system. That is when the idea of rotating plies came up. They experimented with many iterations to come up with this end product. By using the chopstick, they understand how the mechanism system works in their design.
During the pandemic, a parking lot is altered to be an outdoor dining area. You can see the glimpse of how chopsticks and toilet papers are imitated. Chopsticks become primary structures, while toilet papers become space dividers and playful elements such as seating and hammocks.
Chopstick and toilet papers are used as a vehicle to generate the ideas of surface from both positive and negative space. Students also explore the integration of materials from weaving, intertwining, embedding to create unique experience that mediate the senses beyond the aesthetic, such as sound, smell, and touch.
Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please let us know. My email address is bandit@hawaii.edu.
And my Tran at hawaii.edu.
Chopsticks and toilet paper are what we have in Hawaii. How about yours?